You are about to witness the very exciting story of a city and its people.
Welcome to motherfucking Detroit.
What up, though? What up, though? This is Detroit Mail with another No Name podcast. And we know we already came off a disappointing loss on Sunday. Let's get that elephant out the room. I know I'm going to get that in my comments before I get into the next show. So, yeah, it was very disappointing, but it is what it is. We got to move on to the next challenge, next game, and that'll be a Monday Night Football game, prime time. We are playing the Las Vegas Raiders. And so, I thought since we're playing the Raiders, I'll bring in someone who supports the Raiders. So without further ado, I bring on the one and only sports professor. What up, though, man?
Yo, what up, my friend? How are we doing out there today?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good.
I appreciate you having me on, my brother.
No problem. Go ahead and plug your information before we go ahead and get into the show.
Oh, yes, sir. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Shout out to everybody out there. I am Omar, the sports professor Fonseca from Ball and Buds. That is my sports and entertainment network, similar to IOW. So check us out. Subscribe everywhere at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS on YouTube. And also check out the Bottom Line Sports. We run every Sunday and Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. So you can check us out. And sometimes we'll also feature other people from other networks, including IOW, like Mar and Mel, our friends here. So check that out at the Bottom Line Sports. And we thank you again.
No problem, man. Good to have you. Good to have you. So, all right, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. It's Monday night. And, prime time, bright lights, Vegas, gambling, strippers, the whole nine. First of all, before we get into it, let's talk about how you feel about your team this year.
Disappointed. I know that we talked before the season, so you know how I feel about how this season was going to play out.
Right.
I thought that we were going to be pretty bad anyways. So we've played pretty much to the potential that I thought, like the ceiling that I thought we had, right? I believe I quoted us at 5 wins before the season. We're already at 3, so a little better than I would have thought, but I still don't think it's very good. I think we've lucked out and played some teams that, unfortunately, not unfortunate, fortunate for us times, unfortunate for them, like Justin Fields having a disabled thumb, dislocated thumb, other things like that. Him going up against Bill Belichick and having his best game planning in years because he wants to be a mentor, but yet he can't do that any other game. Horrible 4th down decisions. Everyone still wants McDaniels gone. No one believes in him. The only one keeping him around is Mark Davis at this point. The Raiders fans, the people inside the building, are very quickly losing trust. Devontae being the face of that. So to say I'd be disappointed would be what I thought we were going to be. It's just sucked a little more because we could have kept Derek Carr and maybe at least had some continuity or something. And instead, we have a makeup of Patriots West, a facsimile of Patriots West. And it's just not working because he's not Bill Belichick, and even Bill Belichick is no longer Bill Belichick. So.
It's interesting you said that because it seems like when Patriots coaches leave, they try to recreate that formula that's over in New England. I mean, when Patricia came over there, it was like, Patriots of the Midwest, and they overpaid a lot of players, got rid of some good players, ran some other players out of town. And so
that's a big one. Yep.
Right. And so you see, like, I don't want to make this a Patriot Belichick type bashing or anything, but fuck them.
Hey, hey.
It just seems like, you know, he doesn't produce good coaches from that tree.
No.
And it's interesting because now you look at what they're doing now, Patriots, and you look at how bad they look this year.
Mm.
It's starting to show a lot of the chinks in that armor. You know, we already said he can't draft, so you see that. So that never works out. Um, and then now you see how his coaches never really pans out. Um, I don't know, man. It just seems like Belichick. Is he the Belichick he says he is, or he just surrounds himself around good pieces, good people, and but if you say he surrounds himself with good people, then why those people don't perform, or is he just not pouring into those people?
Mm.
You know
Yeah.
which one is it?
I mean, they're both great questions. And I think at this point, I think two things can be true, and both of those are true. But I think the thing was that, Tom Brady carried him for so long
Mm-hmm.
that people were overinflated on Bill. I call him Bill Belichick because honestly, I don't think he'd had this many championships or be anywhere near he was if he didn't cheat as many times as he did to get there. That being said, again, he rode Tom Brady's coattails. Before he even got to New England, he was the coach of the Cleveland Browns, and he sucked.
Yeah.
I think he was like 10-26 in like 2 or 3 years before he
Right.
got fired. And then he lucked into Tom Brady after Drew Bledsoe got hurt. What
Mm-hmm.
didn't even plan to put him in, by the way. Which again, no one believed in Tom Brady. He was drafted, very low in the 5th round. No one believed in him, but
Sixth
still,
round.
yeah, exactly in the 5th rounds, and no one believed in him. But still, he turned out to be one of the best quarterbacks ever, one of the best winners ever. And
Mm-hmm.
Bill Belichick, while I will not totally discredit him, he was able to make good in-game decisions.
Yeah.
He did have good players 10, 15 years ago when he was
Mm-hmm.
running out the likes of Richard Seymour and things like that. But now he's just lost it. He's lost touch. The players that he keeps bringing back are not good players. As you said, the coaches he's producing are only good around him in that environment that, again, is just a holdover from that time when Brady was there.
And I'll say this, then we move off of Belichick. I think that, well, I'll pose as a question: has the game just passed them by?
Yes.
Because if you look at a lot of good coaches that are up in age, and very few will pivot to what the new trends are, and you will see a lot of times the game pass them by. And I think that's what. And you look at that in anything, a regular job, as a player, things evolved, and then if you don't pivot to that evolution, it passes you by, and that could be what's happening with Bill Belichick. You know, now you look at his protege. He went to Denver, came back, turned down a job in Indianapolis, and now he's here in the great state of Nevada, and he's sticking up the joint, man. And as a Raider fan, let me ask you this: before we go into the doom and gloom, what surprised you the most about this team this year?
The defense. The defense is definitely what has surprised me most. Usually year in and year out, our defense is a laughing stock. And while they got boat raced last game and did not
Mm-hmm.
look good at all, for the first 5 or 6 games of the season, the defense really stepped up in what carried this team. Because if you look at the statistics, the Raiders are the first team, I believe, in history, and I got to go. I'm pretty sure that's correct, to score under 20 points in the first 6 games. So clearly we wouldn't be 3-3 if it wasn't for that defense with the offense scoring so low. So I was very pleasantly surprised by the defense, but injuries have bit us lately, and now that's going downhill too. So not very good outlook for the future for the Raiders.
So now you 6 games. Now you play 6 games. Get ready to go into your 7th game, and now you match up with the Lions. And so as a team, what do you see as good game plan to beat this team?
To beat the Lions?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there is no game plan to beat the Lions, to be honest with you. It's
Mm.
not going to happen in my eyes. I think the Lions are going to come out, and I probably shouldn't say this because I guess we're not at predictions yet, but
Right.
I think the Lions are pretty, upset over what happened this weekend. And I think they'll end up taking it out on the Raiders. But that being said, if the Raiders do want to win, they need to follow a similar game plan to what Lamar Jackson just did. They need to somehow, and how they do this without Jimmy G playing is going to be hard, but they have to get a lead. First of all, they have to, make sure that they establish Javante Adams and Michael Mayer at tight end and Jacoby Myers, and make sure that they're spreading out the ball like Lamar did, because I mean, their running game is not up to par right now. Josh Jacobs has just not gotten off well, and there's no one else in that running back room that would even pose a threat. So if the passing game is not working, then they're really doomed. But if they're going to follow a blueprint, I think the blueprint that the Ravens put together this weekend, which again is going to be hard for the Raiders to do because their offensive line isn't as good as the Ravens' offensive line, who was able to give Lamar all that time. We're not able to do that. And plus, if we're running out the rookie quarterback like I expect them to do, which he should have done last week and he didn't do. Instead, he ran out old ass Brian Hoyer, which makes no sense to me. The football gods were pissed off, and that's why we lost. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to run out the rookie, he's probably going to have, a pretty bad game against that ferocious, for lack of a horrible pun, Lions defense.
So when you see Monday night's game and the Raiders comes into this game, do you see the problem more of personnel or coaching, or a combination?
I mean, see, so as you mentioned, as you alluded to earlier, I know you didn't fully say it, but it's pretty much what you were hinting at, is that personnel are extension of coaches, right? Because the coaches are the ones that pick the personnel.
Right.
The coaches are the ones that pick the assistant coaches, things like that. Not to mention, they got some good players. They got Devontae Adams. They got Josh Jacobs. They got Max Crosby. They got Marcus Peters. They got Marcus Epps. They got, they got some good players out there. The team is playing above its head right now. If they had a better coach, they might have even a couple more wins. But even that being said, I think that this team is very young. I think that the parts are still mismatched in the eyes of what McDaniels is trying to do. But the problem is that McDaniels is not long for there. In my eyes, if he doesn't, and this is also what I'm hearing from inside the facility, but if he doesn't get to 6 wins, he's fired. So now he's almost there already. But he's not that great of a coach. So I blame it more on coaching. I think McDaniels is a horrible coach. As you said earlier, right? He went to the Broncos, failed miserably trying to turn Tim Tebow into a quarterback. Now he's come here again, always trying to instill those Patriot values, but never bringing the winning ways with it. And again, he's just a horrible coach. He makes horrible coaching decisions. Again, this past weekend, he went for a field goal when they're down 15 in the fourth quarter. Makes no sense. What are you doing? He deserves to be fired.
I mean, I agree with you on that one. I just wanted to hear you say
it. Yeah. Shout out my brother Derek Clubs, who is leading the protest to fire McDaniels. I am on board, brother.
So here's what I say, and as I look at the matchup and I look at what the Raiders personnel is and the Raiders as an organization, I think they have pieces there that this can be a trap game. This can be one of those games that if they come out and execute a good game plan and get up on the Lions and force the Lions to be something they're not, they can win the game. The problem is, and I kind of mentioned this sometimes when I talk about the Cowboys, is do Josh McDaniels have enough moxie? Well, not moxie, but enough football intellect to hold that lead and to make the right decisions if they do have a lead to keep that lead. And see, that's the problem. That's the biggest factor I see. This is the NFL, so it's any given Sunday. Anyone can be anybody. We saw that with last Sunday with a lot of teams last Sunday, where I was like, "Oh shoot, they won." New
Yeah,
England won last week. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, so anybody can be anybody. So it's not for me. It's not the personnel that I think is the X factor. I think it's the coach.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty much saying what you're saying because I just went down the street around the corner, came back around.
Well, no, you're right though, because even then, I mean, any given Sunday team, all good teams have to lose. So, I mean,
Right.
even with the Lions losing this past Sunday, you saw the Eagles and the 49ers lost
Hmm.
last week.
Right.
We saw the Dolphins get beat by the Bills after blowing out the Broncos.
Right.
So every good team is going to lose at some point in the season. It's how
Hmm.
they take that loss and how they come back from the loss. What I like to frame things as, and what is they used to frame it at, well, they still do. But now that we have a 17 game season, you do the quarters, right? How
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
your team look by every 4 games is
Hmm.
how you evaluate your team and see where you're at. And if
Right.
I'm evaluating the Lions, I'm pretty happy as a
Hmm.
Lions fan, as a Lions, organization member.
Hmm.
I think Dan Campbell has this team playing awesome. I think, this weekend was a little bit of a letdown, but
Hmm.
you traveled east. You're going to play who I think the Ravens are a definite, Super Bowl contender, a really
Hmm.
good playoff team. So I mean, it's not a shame that the Lions got beat. Now, would you like to get blown out like that? No, but they're still 5-2.
Right.
They're going to have a what I proclaim to be an easier game against the Raiders this week, especially not having Jimmy Garoppolo out there and running the rookie out there. That Lions defense can just be really, really aggressive.
Hmm.
And so but yeah, as for the Raiders, it doesn't matter because again, there is if you don't have the right coaching,
Hmm.
and again, right, there's that dichotomy right there.
Right.
McDaniels has shown that he's not a good coach everywhere he's been. Dan
Hmm.
Campbell got his first opportunity and turned a 3-14 team into what is now going on possibly a 13-4 team.
Right.
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 So it's how do you motivate your team? How do you get your team to play well for you? So even though sometimes you may make the wrong decision, that effort and that want to by your players makes up for that.
Right. And so now since you brought on up the Lions, let's look at them as a team. As a team,
Mhm.
what do you say is the biggest strength of the Lions?
I mean, it's got to be your passing game. I think that Jared Goff is playing, MVP caliber right now. I
Hmm.
believe last I read an article earlier this week, he's ranking fourth in EPA, estimated points per attempt and completion, and all these other metrics where he ranks third, fourth, and fifth. So Jared Goff is playing, I don't want to say above his head, but he's
Hmm.
playing better than he ever has before.
Right. Right.
Amon St. Rob Brown is a beast and is
Hmm.
someone that needs to be feared. And the running game, it's a little slow up and coming. I know Jamar Gibbs has had a little bit of some, not issues per se, but hasn't
Hmm.
been as great as he started off the season really strong.
Hmm.
David Montgomery has been coming on a little bit as late, which will help out the running game a little bit. But I think the passing game on your offense, and then I mean, as I've been hyping up all year, is your defense. I
Hmm.
love your defense. You've had a
Yeah.
couple injuries there, which I've hurt, but that line, led by Aiden Hutchinson, you know more about it than me, but I mean, it's a great defense that he has put together. And my favorite thing is making fun of Dan Campbell and the ha 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 bite at the kneecap. You know what I'm saying? That makes me happy. It makes me.
Other side, what you think is one their biggest weakness?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a well-rounded team. If
Hmm.
anything, uh, if anything, I would probably say the running game on offense. But again, I think that can round into form
Hmm.
with time. I really think the Lions are one of the top contenders in the league. So I don't necessarily, they're like I said, their flaws are covered up by effort. A lot of the
Mm.
players are
Good point.
dogs, right? They just have that
Mm.
effort. They go after everything every time, and
Right.
that covers up a lot of mistakes that are made.
Right. So for me, if I look at this matchup and the Raiders, uh, I don't see it like a lot of people say, "Oh, they're gonna just slaughter." I don't think they're gonna slaughter the Raiders. I think the Raiders defense still has something, that they can bring to the table. So I
Mhm.
think that if Jared Goff make a mistake, I think this Raiders defense will take advantage of that. Um, I just don't. don't have a lot of faith in the offense as much as I do in Raiders defense. Max Crosby gotta keep a body on him. Gotta keep a body on him to give Goff some time to do what he needs to do in his offense. So let's get to scoring predictions. What do you see the score as?
Yeah, no, I know you said that you don't think it's going to be a blowout. And while I do think the Raiders defense will put up a good fight, I can't see this being any less than a 2-touchdown game. And being that the rookies is out there, I mean, I could see it being even worse. I'm going to go 31-14 Lions.
I was gonna say 34-17.
Okay, so close. Yep.
Yeah. I think that some kind of way that.
So you do think it's going to be sort of a blowout then?
Well, it ain't gonna be like like they got whooped. Like the Lions got whooped.
Well, yeah,
It could be a 38-6.
Right.
Yeah, I think that.
What do you think happened there, by the way? Can I get your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no problem. So here's my thing. I think coming into this year, there's a few things that people were saying, and that as a team knew they needed to fix. It was the run game, defense against the run, defense against tight ends, because a lot of tight ends was coming out, that act like they're gonna block, come out, boom, catch it in the flat, catch it across the middle. That was like they team's bread and butter against the Lions, and running quarterbacks. Those were the three things they need to fix this year. But up to the first 5 games, they seem to have fixed that. Those two things, but they haven't really been tested against a true running quarterback. I mean, Desmond Ridder can run. He's not a true running quarterback. Right. I mean, Baker Mayfield, is elusive, but he's not a true running quarterback.
Right.
Young is just still trying to get his feet wet, so we don't even count him as anything. Geno is a very elusive, but he's not a Lamar Jackson. And so here is this where they came in and they had that test to see, okay, here's that third piece, and they still need to work on that. The second part of that is discipline. The whole thing, if you look at the game plan, it was collapse the pocket and keep them uncomfortable. It wasn't about getting 3, 4, 5, 6 sacks. It's about making them uncomfortable. Where he want to release that ball too quicker than he wants to. Not in position where it needs to be. Give you a chance to get a play on the ball, and then you had some players like, I'm gonna try to make a play, and then they try to make a play. Lamar he sees an open, scrambles out of it, and then the linebacker say, he's coming, he gonna run. They run up to try to stop him, leaving the assignment, dumps the ball, and he's doing that all day long. And then once you get down, then when they were stopping the run, everybody's trying to make a play, so everybody's out of position. So now their run game is on. It just became a snowball effect. Yeah. So I think one of the lessons they need to learn is you live and die by the game plan. It's the NFL. You're not going to win every game, but live and die by the game. Listen to the game plan, stick to it, stay disciplined. And if Lamar beats you, he just beats you.
Right.
But don't beat yourselves. A lot of stuff is them beating themselves, And then on the offensive side of the ball, once you got down, run is not even a factor anymore.
Right.
We got to get up, we got to score. And so that takes you out of your game plan. I think that was the biggest thing. Okay. I think it's a good thing. So now you be humble, come on down. I just wish they was playing. I'm trying to say this not sound like I'm putting other teams down. I wish they was playing some more great teams, elite teams. Let me say that. Right. More elite teams.
Right.
So that way they can say, now you can kind of get you a good litmus test. Okay, we made these adjustments. Now let's go in, because we already said what the Raiders' weaknesses are. Plus they putting out a rookie quarterback. So if you blow them out, is that really a litmus test? Then you go and play in Denver, who's not a great team. That's a real litmus test. Then you play in your division. You got four games, six games in your division. Was that real litmus test? And then the next biggest challenge you may have, you can argue maybe the Chargers or argue maybe the Cowboys. The Cowboys on that borderline of elite good elite, because they're not consistent with it.
Right.
If you stay consistent, you can call them an elite team. But because the fact that they don't be consistent, I call them a good team, especially with that defense, the weapons they have on offense. But you have that Dak and McCarthy factor over there, and so that I think that keeps them out of the elite conversation. I still think they're a good team. So
I would actually put them and y'all about the same level right now.
yeah, I'll say that. Yeah, that's fine. That's a good. That's a good point. So is that really a good litmus test too? So it's kind of like we don't know until you get to the playoffs. But by
Right.
that time, what I'm saying, you want to have all those things kind of,
Mhm.
put together, because now you want to roll
That's a good
into the
point.
playoffs looking strong. So that's my only concern, is that they don't have anybody on the schedule to really say, did they make the right adjustments? You're not playing another running quarterback. Maybe Dak. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can call Dak. Russ is kind of old. I mean, he's still elusive. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a running quarterback. Not like you know what I'm saying, like a Lamar is.
Right. Right.
So that's kind of my only thing. I would like to see them play someone that that's least kind of elusive in the run part, where they can say, okay, we adjusted to that. We ready. Because what if they do a good run, and Super Bowl is the repeat of last Sunday's game. You had no
Yeah.
way of really testing it.
Yeah. And on top of that, I mean, with that soft schedule, as you mentioned, if they get to the playoffs and they have the bye too, that takes
Right.
another week away from
Mm-hmm.
possible, at least testing themselves as
Right.
as you have. So yeah, having only like the Chargers and Cowboys down the stretch would be worrisome in terms of, are we battle tested enough and ready to go win in the playoffs, which is
Right.
a whole different beast than the regular season.
Because you're
So
gonna have to see. They're gonna have to see. Um, if they get the bye, they're gonna have to see probably San Fran or the Eagles.
yeah, one of the two.
One of those two. I
Yep.
mean, I love seeing play the Seahawks again, and what I'm saying, as a rematch. But I think what's gonna happen, and I could be wrong.
Well, of course
Seahawks
you
get
would. The Seahawks aren't that good. Of course you would.
Seahawks gets in, and they get beat. They get beat, and they have to, and the Lions come out to bye playing Eagles or San Fran. And I think the Lions are, if you go player by player, they have a lesser. I'm trying to think how the word is. They have a lesser version of what San Francisco has because of experience.
Okay, so you're saying like a downgrade, like a low budget,
Yeah, like a low budget. You know what I'm saying? You look at it, I mean,
a low budget
Hutchinson,
version. I do like that.
Hutchinson,
That is true.
Hutchinson is your Bosa matchup.
Right.
If he's
Yeah.
good as Bosa, no, he hasn't been there long enough. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But that's your Bosa comparison.
Yeah.
Golf and Purdy, you can,
You got Laporta and Kittle.
you got Laporta and Kittle, same school, you know.
I like that. I like that
Yeah.
comparison. I do like that comparison. Yeah, it's
Um,
actually an apt comparison.
yeah, so I think that if once they get that experience and time on their belt,
Mm.
they'd be up there with San Fran. And then I think that, I
And
don't
I
know
think
if
that's also coaching too. Like, yeah, Dan
right.
Campbell inspires a lot of effort and good play and things like that.
Mhm.
But Kyle Shanahan is, I mean,
He's
if
a
we're talking
wizard.
right, if we're talking who's game planning better on offense, I mean,
Right,
we're
right.
all taking Kyle Shanahan. So
Right. And I think what it is with Shanahan is that he puts together a system that just anyone can just plug and play.
yep,
You know, and I don't think that's not the Lions MO. Lions MO is team play, which
collective.
it's collective. There's no problem with that. And the fact that, and I think that's why they built a team the way they did, with so much depth. So if one person out, you still have someone you can pull from the practice squad who's just as good, who will be starting on another team somewhere that can fill in. And I like how they did that, because that works for this type of game plan, this type of philosophy they have over there.
Right.
So that's my thing with them. So I don't have a problem with how they coach and everything. The only problem, not problem, but the thing I see is, if Ben Johnson leave, then what? I do have that depth in coaching.
Yeah.
If Aaron Glenn leave, now here's my thing about Aaron Glenn, and I'm gonna say this, and we gonna get out of here, but I don't think Aaron Glenn's a horrible coach. However, there are some times where he makes some decisions, like with the Baltimore decision. Why are you not pressing those receivers? That gives you more. Give Lamar less time. You know what I'm saying? Because now you
Dude,
press
what
the
was that? That
receivers.
one play he had like 9 seconds to
Yeah,
throw. That's
yeah,
ridiculous. There's no way.
yeah. So if you press receivers now, it's time. Got work time to get for him to get open. It's a
You
lot.
give me 9 seconds, I'm gonna score a
Right.
touchdown.
You drop back into a zone defense. I don't understand that. So that's my thing about Aaron Glenn. So maybe do they need Aaron Glenn's new coaching job? That may be good for them to have a different look, a different perspective of how to play. Because only people that we were, I don't. So C.J. Garner Johnson and Mosley on 1-year contracts. Cam Sutton's on 3. However, since they both been injured, they didn't really get a chance to prove anything for people to see for them to go somewhere else. So I think they'll be here next year.
Yeah, resign them on low deals. That makes sense.
Yeah. So you'll probably have them next year. So you can have that same team next year to have that experience to go in and hopefully go, depending on what they do this year, but go even deeper next year.
Okay, so kind of like a 2-year plan. Like, hey, let's get our experience now, get our licks in, get our our chops in, whatever, and then go to the playoffs. And then next year we'll be able to bring everybody back healthy. Everybody will know the game plan. More people will be, we'll bring in the extra pieces that we need to complement to make it a Super Bowl team.
Right. I think next year I have them favorite depending on what they do this year, but I have them favorite to win the Super Bowl. Well, he go to the Super Bowl.
I mean, they would be one of the contenders. Yeah,
maybe one of the contenders. Yeah, let me say that. One of the contenders. Yeah, one of the contenders. Yeah. All right, man. Before we got here, go ahead and plug your information again.
Oh, yes, brother. I appreciate you again. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem, man.
Anytime you need me, I'll be back. Y'all check out Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS on YouTube. Subscribe there. Check out all the videos. And also check me out with the Bottom Line Sports Crew every Sunday and Tuesday. Sundays we run 7:30 Eastern, Tuesdays at 8 Eastern. You can subscribe at The Bottom Line Sports on YouTube as well. Thank you again, brother.
No problem. I'm gonna have to get Flo and Jake on here because we play the Cowboys and the Broncos.
Oh yeah. Get them on there. Oh, I definitely can't wait to watch you and Jake go at it. Oh, that'll be a good episode. I'm turning it in for sure.
I appreciate you, man. It's been fun, man. I always enjoy talking to you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, my brother. Thank you again.
No problem, man. And everybody else that I can find, IOW Sports every Monday and Tuesday. I'm sorry, Monday and Tuesday. Every Monday and Thursday, Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. If you like chopping up about sports and you just like talking about sports, tune in every Monday from 4 p.m., Thursday 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We talk about every sport, NBA, MLB, underwater basket weaving. You know what I'm saying? We talk about everything. Competitive stripping, whatever it is, we talk about it. Check us out.
That's great.
And then you can get my boy, big homie Nick Shine. He's a Jets fan. Why I don't know, but he has a proud Jets fan. Homie Lamar. If you're a Chiefs fan and you like talking about the Chiefs, tune into his channel. Proud Chief fan.
Shout out, Mark.
Wildcard Chief. Also, if you up late at night and you can't sleep, and you just want to chop it up about sports, hey, Late Night Owl. Just after that West Coast game come off, you just saw the Lakers play, just saw Sacramento play, and you want to talk about that game, that dunk, that pass, them bad referee calls, tune in right here, IOW Sports. Check out the Late Night Owl, Wildcard Mar. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Ouch.